All right, we're falling behind the 8 ball on this week with Monday Night Football, so we're a little behind schedule. I had a little bit of a head cold too, so bear with me if I sound a little nasally or not normal, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Stat tracking week 6. I'm going to preemptively tell you now I got lost in a moment here of Black Ditka. A lot of you guys know him on Twitter. Talking about Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. I don't want to keep rehashing this thing, but there's one key thing that I can show that will show Caleb's development. So it's not necessarily about trashing Justin or trashing Caleb or one or the other or whatever. I want to put that whole thing to rest. It needs to be to rest, but I'm going to preemptively tell you, I'm going to come out hopefully by this weekend and show a breakdown of all 22 films showing the difference between the two in year 2 of Caleb, year 5 of Justin now, and why we should be really grateful that Caleb is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Don't hate Justin. You guys know that. This whole platform started around Justin, really around the Bears, but around Justin and his development and trying to give proper perspective to stats and analysis and what's going on. Love the kid. He's going like this. Now he's gone like this. And now Aaron Glenn does not help him out as a defensive head coach. He needs a Ben Johnson. He needs a Matt LaFleur. He needs a Kyle Shanahan. He needs a Kevin O'Connell. He needs an offensive mind from that same tree specifically. But I'm going to show something coming up this weekend. So just giving you a preemptive, I guess that's a little fluffer, a little, what do we call it? A little excitement teaser. Teaser, I think, is the right word for it. But let's jump into the stats for this week, show some things that we can dissect, and then we move on because we're already in Wednesday. We're already moving on to next week and a big opportunity against the Saints. That thing was out of position. All right, so let's jump right into it. The offensive line. This is really exciting. I don't need to show the ones below me. And this is part of where I'm going at with this, guys. You guys have heard me talk on this channel about it. So you're going to understand where part of the basis of this is coming from. It's not just the line. Yes, we upgraded the line. Joe Thuney is a huge upgrade. He's better than any player we've had on the Bears for, I don't know, half a decade, maybe even, I don't know. Joe Thuney's probably I don't know. I'm going to get ahead of myself. Joe Thuney is a great addition to this team, a phenomenal addition to this team. So Joe Thuney, huge for the Bears. You can see all the Bears players right down here, all the offensive linemen with snaps. Drew Dahlman is giving me a little bit of stress. All these pressures, 12 pressures on 188 opportunities. That's not good enough from your center position. I need to see a little bit more, but his run blocking has been phenomenal and was a huge key to get DeAndre Swift going this last week. Him, Darnell Wright, the entire offensive line did really well this last game, so that's great. But you see, 2022, we are 29th in pass blocking efficiency, 2023, 26th, 2024, 21st. This year, we are tied for 7th with Dallas and Indianapolis right now. That's phenomenal. The key to that, yes, we have better offensive linemen. Caleb is not taking self-sacks this year. He's doing a phenomenal job of protecting his line, of making them look better and them making him look better. Absolutely. He's getting more time than last year. He's less pressures. Braxton Jones being out alone is giving him a better opportunity. Now, Theo Benedict has some things to improve, but his footwork looks really clean. His posturing, his base, I really like what I saw on his first start at left tackle. He started right tackle the week before. His first start at left tackle. Was he perfect? Not even close. Were there a lot of things that you could dissect and say, holy crap, this guy's got issues? Sure. I think he got overly hammered for the illegal formation penalty. I don't know. My opinion, and if you've been on Twitter, there's a million views on my post from that one about the refs. The refs calling that one for Vegas. Look, Rome Odunze had a touchdown in each of his first 4 games. 5 touchdowns in 4 games. There was overwhelming money on Vegas for Rome to get another touchdown. Overwhelming. I'm talking the sports books would have taken a bath. They would have lost hand and foot. That penalty stopped the sports books from losing their money. That's all I'm going to say about that. But this year, the Bears' pass blocking efficiency, they are all the way up to 7th. All right, so this is an old graphic. This is last week, so I'm going to show you this next week because I want to throw someone in there. Here's a key to this. So I showed this last week. This is last week's graph, or 2 weeks ago's graph. Here's after week 2, Caleb had a pressure turn to sack of 20. After week 4, he was down to 13.7. After week 6, it's come up a little bit. He's in the 15s. I'll show that next. But he had 3 sacks this last week. I'm trying not to give too much away because this video I'm really excited about making. every one of those sacks Caleb took were in times where the sack was acceptable. I'm telling you, this kid understands his pocket. In year 2, he reads the defense better. Is he going through his progressions like a pro yet? No. He's not seeing all the open things. The 2-point conversion to Monangai is perfect example of that. We'll show that in the all 22 film. He's not quite there. There's still room for him to grow, okay? He still needs to see his progressions and get through it and see the field cleaner. But understanding his pocket is what I'm talking about. He doesn't ever have to take a sack. In the last 2 weeks before this, 21 pressures against him, 1 sack. 1. In this last game, 3 sacks, but all of them were, man, I hate to say this because as Bears fans, we've been going through the drudgery of it. All 3 of them were acceptable sacks. Acceptable sacks, okay? 3rd down, trying to extend it, trying to force it so we can get a first down, take a sack. We're going to punt anyways. Acceptable. I'm going to show that in the film. So this is not crazy. Let's jump into after week 6. Here's after week 6. And I got to take me off because here's the big thing you're going to see when I do this video. Look at Justin in year 5, 24.4 pressures turned to sack. He still doesn't see his pocket. Okay. Caleb up to 15.4 now. He's good enough for 14th in the league. So still massive improvement. Massive. I mean, I'm talking massive improvement for Caleb that I really like what I'm seeing out of him. His accuracy, an issue, a huge issue. So here's adjusted completion percentage among the worst in the league. Absolutely. His completion percentage among the worst in the league. His accuracy is, he's taking the same trajectory as Jordan Love. If you guys remember the last 2 years, I've been trashing on Jordan Love like crazy because his accuracy was off. Now, the one thing Jordan Love got right in his second year, just like Caleb's getting right in his second year, is he would get rid of the ball in key situations and key times. Now, he's a little more loose with it. He would throw up more Hail Marys. Now, Caleb did that this last game too with Rome, 2 guys in coverage, and he threw it up trusting Rome that he could either get the ball or knock it down. That's what you get from a high point guy. So you're looking at a similar trajectory where your quarterback isn't the most accurate. He's adjusting to the NFL still, adjusting to a new playbook, I should say, with Ben Johnson, adjusting to this one. This last game, behind Olamide Zaccheaus, aligned behind Roma Dunze, not quite on target, zipping one on the sideline. That should have been more soft touch. There's some things he can improve. So I'm not trashing on him. Excuse me, guys. I'm already getting it. We're going to have to get through this one quicker. Not trashing on him, but I'm very realistic about where he is as a quarterback. I love what I see with his pocket presence. I have full confidence that he's going to get there. All right, so where is he now? This year, if we math out the 5 games into 17 games, he's on pace for 221 defensive pressures against him. 241 last year, so very similar. The sacks is the difference. He's on pace for 34, whereas last year he took 68. He's cutting out the self-sacks. He's cutting out the issues where he would take a sack instead of dumping it down to someone, dirting it, getting rid of it, doing what he needed to do. He's learned from it. I'm going to show you a quote from him in just a second. In fact, let's just go to that. This was after the Seattle game last year. He said, there's been a stupid, excuse my language, but a stupid idea behind the offensive lineman. The connotation behind my offensive line has been annoying and frustrating because they work their tail off to be able to go out there. The negative connotation behind them, they come in and work their butt off each day. Each week, I've taken sacks, yes, and a good amount have been on me, whether it's small things or getting the ball out of my hands and maybe dirting it, not trying to find the perfect route, perfect play. Maybe it's just throwing it out of bounds, dirting it, finding the check down faster, and the other one is not trying to make plays all the time. If you listen to Speak, if you listen to Get Up in the Morning, if you listen to any national commentator this week talking about Caleb, that's the one thing they talked about is he's trusting his teammates, trusting DeAndre Swift. Get the ball in his hands, let him do his thing. Trusting Rome Odunze, hucking it up and give him an opportunity to come down with it. Maybe it's an incompletion. Maybe you got just a huge big-time throw that turned into a 60-yarder. You know, I apologize, guys. Giving these guys an opportunity, you know, just doing a check down, letting Kyle Monangai have the ball, positive 2 yards, and maybe go for 40, maybe go for 2, maybe go for -1. Giving it an opportunity and not putting it all on his shoulders. So this was last year before the Green Bay game, and he's been living evidence of it. He's doing everything in relation to that. Everything is positive here. Same amount of scrambles, same amount of defensive pressures roughly. Time to throw is similar. This is not a metric that really needs to be studied hard. It's different. It depends on how they have vision of the pocket, really. Caleb Williams at 3.81 or 18 seconds and Justin Fields at 3.20 seconds. All things are not equal. You're holding the ball the same amount of time, but because you're seeing it differently, there's a different viewpoint for it. So that's huge. Here's the big difference. That pressure turned into sacks from 28 down to 15%. That's the huge thing. So, okay, Caleb, we're going to run through this thing. Sorry, guys. On pace now for 4,009 yards, 1179 on the season. On pace for 31 touchdowns, 9 on the season. You can see over here, no Bears has thrown for over 4,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns. Current Bears single-season record is 38 in yards, 29 in touchdowns. On pace to beat both of them so far. Just get me off screen and show the receiving now. And we had to add DeAndre Swift now, running back, onto the screen because of his big game. So Rome Odunze now is 328. He's on pace for 1115. DJ Moore, 215, on pace for 731. DeAndre Swift on pace for 517. He's got 152. Luther Burden III, 150. He's on pace for 510. You've got Olamide Zaccheaus on pace for 46. He's got 143. Cole Kmet. The tight ends are really the lagging group here for the Bears. 116 on pace for 394. And Colston Loveland, 54, on pace for 184. I do expect that number to come up. I really do think they're going to get him involved this next week. And one penalty against him this last week that took away a solid 10-yarder for him. So kind of got hosed out of that, just like Rome got hosed out of his touchdown. But let's go to the running backs. Let's just move me up here. Hey, guys, what's up? All right, so on pace for rushing, with a lot of people haven't even mentioned this yet. DeAndre Swift, 295, on pace now for a 1,000-yard rushing season. He's going to have a couple more games like he did against Washington. I just think it's ironic that Washington is the 100-yard game he had last year. Now it's the 100-yard game this year. His one 100-yard game. So that's, I don't know, kind of funny to me. All right, Caleb as a quarterback on pace for 367. And Kyle Monangai, I do think this workload's going to increase too. You saw that in the last game. He's on pace for 275. If we go back to the last screen too, I'll just pull me over here. He's got 48 yards, so he's close to on pace to the same receiving yards Kyle Monangai is than Colston Loveland. So very similar there. So there's the offensive stat tracking where things are. I will try to have the Caleb video that shows some comparison of all 22 with him and Justin by this weekend. I'm going to try real hard. I've had so much going on, and I'm getting run ragged again. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in, though. This is really fun to do. And I do appreciate you guys' support. If you don't mind looking into the comment of or the description of the video, a lot of you know by now, I'm just going to give a quick plug. I don't do other annoying ads in here. I don't do ball trimmers or, sports betting on here. I run an insurance agency. I am licensed in Illinois now, also Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. So if you're in any of those states, you want to get a quote, just look in the description of the video, hit that little link. There's a little blue box, put your info in there. I'll contact you. Help several people so far from the channel who have already done this. So give it a shot. It doesn't cost you anything, and I would love to help you out. Again, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Till next time, da Bears, bear down.